Hey everybody, XEI here for a trailer reaction, but I'm going to start off by featuring an article first, which came to me, and I came to learn about a game called GreedFall, which is coming very, very soon. And it's a headline called "Spiders Wants GreedFall to Fill the Void Left by BioWare." This is on Escapist magazine. It was kind of promoted via their Twitter. That's how it got to me. And so let's talk about this real quick. Then we'll check out the trailers that I found on the YouTube channel for Focus Home Interactive, which is the publisher. Anyways, it's a publisher who bought out Spiders. I just started to get into this information. I might have some of it wrong, but let's just go forward, and then I'm winging it. I'm winging it, guys, because I needed to see other stuff. But I figured I might as well record one of these while I do it with all of you. Okay, so Spiders wants GreedFall to fill the void left by BioWare. Obviously, that for a lot of us BioWare fans, I now consider myself a true BioWare fan. I haven't gone down the rabbit hole yet of news and content, but I love the Dragon Age world. I love the Mass Effect story. I love both of those equally for different reasons, but not for the same, which is very strange. But they both have strong suits. And after I read this article, I was like, my God, I think Greedfall might be the best of both those worlds, but I don't know because I haven't seen any more trailers. I've just read this article. Anyways, look at this. Look at this, like just this monster, this thing. I mean, breath of fresh air. Like many RPG fans, Spider's CEO Rousseau loves BioWare's classic Mass Effect, Dragon Age, and Knights of the Old Republic games, but was disappointed by the developer's recent work. She still hopes the company can return to its roots, but for now her team is working to make the games they want to play. They are creating them now not to replace BioWare, but to fill the void in some ways, Rousseau said. We can't really compare. We don't have the same size teams and budget, but we really try to continue creating games we love. We hope that players will like it and that players that enjoyed playing story-driven RPGs like games from BioWare will enjoy playing Greedfall. Just the hook of that player base that is obviously frustrated at this point. I'm just kind of getting into the news, especially near the end of Inquisition. There was that news of BioWare, what's going on there, what's going on with EA. It's just a lot of heavy stuff right now to come at, especially if you don't have the years and years of reading. Like, I don't have the anxiety that a lot of BioWare fans have that have been with these franchises for over a decade at this point, who played Dragon Age Inquisition many years ago and then have been trying to follow news and just kind of seeing how everything is breaking apart. It's very demoralizing, and then even like Andromeda comes out, a bit of a catastrophe, if you will. There are some fans of it still, and I'm sure that if you kind of put yourself in the right frame of mind, maybe Andromeda will work out for you. It's all good. I'm the believer that you can make anything work if you go into it with like a mindset where you want it to work. You know what I mean? If you go in there like kind of on a fence, you can go either way. If you go in there kind of listening to everything that might have influenced you going in with negative ideas, you're probably going to see all those things. They're going to stand out. They're going to distract you. But if you go in and you try to create your own story, try to make something of it, I think you can make a positive experience. I should have zoomed this up so that you can actually read what's on my screen. But anyways, I'm derailing, and so let's go further. Set to release on September 10th. Like, it's just around the corner. It's 2 weeks away. Greedfall is set in a fantasy world inspired by the 17th century colonization of the Americas by European powers. Rousseau said she chose a setting to emphasize exploration and politics. That's amazing. Let me just, Portuguese and Spanish, kicking off the colonization of the Americas in particular in the 14th century. This takes place in the 17th century, so it looks like that first kind of wave of colonization. This is all fantasy, but like you can tell in the dress and in just like the style of it that they're kind of touching into a couple colonization kind of countries back in a span of like 300-400 years, right? So like by the 17th century, the 1600s, you're talking about like the English, the French, and the Netherlands then kind of start exploring the world, colonizing, etc., etc. And then of course you have the third wave, which is a couple of more countries get involved. They start going for Africa, the Asia, stuff like that. So there's so much exploration in this chunk of centuries. I'm getting derailed. I think we just need to keep going. Point is, exploration is like the theme. It feels like, just thematically, conceptually, it's perfect. I didn't want to do classical heroic fantasy, which is mostly inspired by medieval times, because I've seen too much of that, she'd be right. I think we've all sort of seen a lot of that. Not that we're all tired of it, but there's a huge, it's so saturated that you really do want to kind of try to reach new things, new conceptual ideas, just to liven things up, just freshen up the genre and stuff like that. Friggin' these people, they nailed it. Small studio, they nailed it. I think they're gonna nail it. Crossing fingers. She said. So I love Tolkien, but it's a little overused, and we wanted something new. Our art director began drawing some amazing costumes and landscapes with people with long coats. We were very quickly convinced and began creating this universe based on that. So it's based on a bunch of there's like different guilds, I suppose. I don't know the terms for these things, but there's the Congregation of Merchants, there's the Bridge Alliance, Coin Guard Mercenaries, the Seafaring Knots, the natives of contested islands of Ter Freddy. It's all these new ideas are just there again. They're just so fresh. It's so fresh. And then from here, by doing some quests, talking and discussing with different factions leaders, you'll be able to influence the relationship of your faction towards them and them towards your faction. So there's that relationship dynamic that goes on, which of course comes from, it's almost like an expanded form of the stuff that we've seen in BioWare games. I've seen this. I mean, World of Warcraft had the whole faction thing going on. So I mean, I think it's a mix of all of these little things. Maybe it's in other games. I just haven't played a lot of the recent-ish games of the last 10 years. Like maybe Assassin's Creed has something like this. I don't know. I haven't played a lot of these games, but I feel like they're taking all these little ideas that might have worked over the last 6 years of games development, which BioWare could have capitalized on. But they're like Anthem. Then Anthem happens. That could have capitalized on a lot of good BioWare ideas. It didn't. Let's leave it there. Let's move on. Well, I watched this trailer. We'll watch that when we get to the YouTube channel. So then no faction is a monolith. So there's basically no like good. There's no central good. It's like it's sort of that gray feeling of what I feel is Dragon Age is closer to that than Mass Effect, but Mass Effect also has that kind of notion. But in Dragon Age, nothing's really good. There's a bunch of ideas, and what you align with is just what you align with, and you tell the story based on that alignment. And you know, us as players, we might have ideas that we consider more right than other ideas. They're just perspectives, you know, and it's a lot of gray, and some stuff is pretty polarized in those games. But when we're talking about this kind of exploration idea and just the themes here, again, I feel like there's a lot of content that would definitely have a lot of undertones that could be a challenge. To like how they present the information could be very tricky. But here's the thing: them being a European studio, which I feel like is very different than a North American studio. Their sensibilities are much different when it comes to storytelling, and when it comes to kind of sensitive ideas. They're just the more bold. You see this with CD Projekt Red. I believe you're going to see this with Spider. Oh man, I'm hoping these I mean, these are little, like the little guys that come out and like they have this huge hit on their hands, and I hope they become something. I really do. We need like a good news story. You know, I'm just new. I'm just kind of sinking into this new stuff now. But I've just been disappointed with some of the latest BioWare stuff. I just want CD Projekt Red makes me very, very happy as a studio. I would love to hear another good news story about another studio kind of doing that stuff, especially when it breaks the mold of the North American, you know, AAA Titan kind of market. We need more studios like that, man, creating games right now in the world. Moving on. There are no real good guys. So yeah, I kind of touched on that. The players' relationships with other factions will be in part shaped by the game's 5 companion characters. So you're going to have the companion stuff. You're going to have companion dynamic going on here, which is also, you know, lovers of BioWare games. They're going to love that, of course. They do get into relationships between companions, and that you can get romantically involved with them. Four of the companions can be romance, and 2 of them are open to homosexual relationships. So it opens it up to BioWare has a lot of LGBT fandom attached to it because of the progressive position they took to allowing relationships to be more kind of dynamic with the player's interests. And kudos to them for bringing that in. They know their target audience. You might as well, again, small company. this is the good play here. There, I mean, as long as the game is like it's legitimately good and almost like a spiritual, not necessarily successor because the studios aren't aligned, right? But you know what I'm saying is like the idea, if they can tap into that historic BioWare feeling that everyone is hungry for and BioWare is not delivering, this is perfect marketing right here. This is perfect marketing. So it talks about a game I've never heard of, RPG Mars Warlogs. I looked at their game list on Wikipedia. I haven't heard of a single game that's come out of spiders. And so they're coming out of the blue, man. And so again, this is why I'm so hoping that this pans out for them. It looks remarkable. We'll get to the game footage. Rather than true open world, players will move between zones in a way that resembles Dragon Age. Much better. I mean, that's fine. But I mean, what they mean here is probably true open world as in Skyrim. Yeah, but that was good. They did that well. The Inquisition did not do it well. I'm presuming that's what they mean. It's more like Dragon Age Inquisition-y. Based on the footage I've seen, it looks Inquisition-y. But hey, glass half full, glass half full. So while a few areas will be gated based on plot events, I'm all for that. Players will be able to go almost anywhere once they complete the prologue, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't. You should, since you might wind up facing enemies that are much too powerful for you. That's fine. You know, like I'm all okay with like organic, just like a player playing and finding out I can't go in there, I'm getting owned. This was just it happened in where was it? Did World of Warcraft will tell you the levels that you should be entering zones. City of Heroes had the same thing. You could go in there under leveled. You just get owned and then you'd back up. You know, I'm all for that being organic and just let the player decide where they want to go and when and stuff like that. That's all cool. You don't have the feeling. You don't have the feeling of progress that the monsters are also progressing. That's what I mean. That's what I was just saying. So I remember years ago playing Oblivion, and I was so disappointed to see the monsters were level scaling. After a while, you can meet some rats that were level 45, and it was so boring. That sounds super, super strange. And that's the end of the article, basically. And so from here, let's check out some of the trailers, shall we? Okay, here's the first trailer from the Focus Home Interactive YouTube channel. I've just subscribed because I'm going to be following this game. I want to know what's coming out. Here's the GreedFall reveal trailer. Also, I just noticed... Okay. Look at those graphics.
This world is
magic in the world. It's all fantasy games, right?
How can I fight it?
My clock, I think it was on the music page that the natives are elves.
Yes, the wolves are out.
Oh, that's creepy and great. So are the elves the magic ones then? Lower the volume a little bit. Oh! That's awesome. Look at this. Gotta control myself. These would be... Because the factions are opposed to each other, right? So that's the whole thing, is that there's these other factions that are in play here. All right, next one. The audio's corrected now.
All my blessings go with you, my child.
And so the day has finally come. My royal fledglings are leaving the nest.
What's it with the tattoos?
This
I don't know.
disease kills thousands of innocents.
I love
Finding a cure is one
that
of the reasons I
in
came
ways
here.
I can't express. I'm writing a comic called Raven Nevermore. It's literally like these are the visuals. Oh my gosh, it's great. Oh, I love the look of it so much. Well, I'm playing this. That goes without saying. I don't know when I'm going to play this because I didn't anticipate there being a game 2 weeks from now. Oh my gosh, I love that. So I love the fantastical elements of this so much already, and I've only seen 2 of the beasts so far.
Will you stand for this? One thing brings me cheer. They
This
say
is a
the
story
island is full
trailer.
of miracles, and we might find a
Oh,
cure.
let's see some new creatures, man.
Lively there, lads
I
and
think I saw those
lasses.
in the gameplay one.
I promised the merchants and their prince we'd be off before the
They all have
tide.
tattoos. I
I'm
wonder
Sardet,
what that's all
the
about.
prince's nephew. If all is in
Do
order,
they
we will
all?
soon be embarking on your boat.
The animation's not that bad. I mean, by that I mean it's good.
Comfort to know my son has left on a mission to heal
The best I've
his
seen so far,
people.
but I'm catching up on game trailer. Like Witcher 3 is probably remarkable, but this looks phenomenal to me. Cinematically, it's good. Composition is great. It feels epic. Oh my gosh.
Welcoming committee.
Oh, I love the visuals so much.
The new governor's cousin. I've heard
my
stories
gosh.
about you.
Our people have always lived in harmony with nature. Our very
Oh,
existence revolves
I love this
around
so
her.
much.
Yet you call the spirit that guides us demon.
It is my feeling that you do not understand the consequences of such a decision.
One of our frontier posts has just suffered a brutal attack.
This is gonna be so good.
We didn't want this fight.
Tell me then, what is your intended purpose?
What am I gonna do?
The spirits of your lands must be quite horrendous to cast down such evils upon the peoples that live there.
Take your time to think about the consequences.
If this remedy
Next.
can heal one from
This is the release
miracle.
date announcement video.
Alas, not yet.
This journey is his long-awaited chance to prove his worth.
Oh, my blessings go with you, my child.
These guys are gonna be a breakout. They're gonna come out of nowhere. Their success is gonna come out of nowhere. There's no way. Oh, please. Please let this be amazing. Oh my gosh, the creature design. I love.
They were so real.
Answer your own questions.
I'm de Sardet, and I would like to negotiate her liberation.
I love that there's blunderbusses in it.
Well, who are you?
Your heart is the heart of a Renaigse.
Oh, I can't wait to spend 3 hours in character. I think you can design the clothing even, like the pieces are completely customizable. I love that creature so much. Oh, that's great too. Okay, now let's watch the gameplay trailer that I saw that made
Welcome
me
to
want to look
GreedFall,
deeper.
the core
This talks about a
role-playing
bunch of
experience by
bunch of
Spider
things.
Studio. Explore the uncharted island of Tir Fredi, which holds promises of secrets, treasures, and adventure. From the very beginning, you're given the freedom to make your character
I love
unique.
the idea that the
Decide
character
on your
generation
appearance
is
from a
done
range of
here.
options
There's like a
before
dude
diving
painting
into your
you,
starting
and you
skills,
so
attributes,
good.
and talents.
I love
And so the day has
the
finally
conceptual
come.
idea there. It's
My
wonderful.
royal fledglings are leaving the nest.
Though you can specialize, you're free to mix and match
Crazy
between all disciplines,
skill
ensuring
tree.
you're prepared for all that
That look
lies
like a lot of
ahead.
notes.
Combat styles are varied. Quickly
Grenades
rush in
or
and out of the
alchemy,
fray
we got
using magic.
blunderbuss.
Hold foes in place with stasis
guns
and
and- oh,
unleash
great
devastating
magic.
spells before your enemies can even land a blow. Armor up and knock down.
Looks like a
enemies
mix
with
of
slow
a Dragon
but
Age
deadly
Inquisition
two-handed weapons.
with, I would
Or
say, like
parry
a
your way to
Witcher.
victory with a fast flurry of your rapier.
I haven't seen Witcher 2 and
If you
3
really
combat,
don't
but
wanna
I'm
play fair,
sure.
An array of traps, bombs, poisons,
feels like,
pistols, and rifles serve to offer
Witcher
even
1
more
combat,
control of the
but-
battlefield.
Better. Some cinematic cutscenes during Special scenes
During
are awesome.
particularly intense fights,
But look at this.
you might want to utilize the tactical
That's what I
pause
mean about
option.
Witcher. There's like
This
the
gives
way
you
that it
unlimited
moves
time
and
to
dodges and
select
stuff
from
like
your
that. I feel
actions,
like
spells, techniques, and potions to use on the
there's gonna
target
be
you wish.
that looks great. See that dodge
All
right there, that
styles
dodge
of
and
play
roll.
benefit from the use
So
of
you can
Fury,
control where
a
it
potent
dodges.
resource that lets you unleash some of the most powerful attacks in the game. GreedFall
got the
features
tactical
hundreds
pause.
of pieces of customizable equipment,
This
armor,
is crazy
and clothing,
sounding.
letting you delve deep into creating your own look and play
you imagine
style.
the
Many
amount
of
of time
these are
that's gonna
specific
take?
to the island's distinct factions and may double as a disguise if subterfuge proves necessary.
Yes, please.
During
love.
quests and exploration, overcome challenges using stealth, deception, and combat, or a mix of all three.
So different approaches to problems.
Struggling to gain
Based on
entry to a
character
guarded
cast?
building?
Class, not
The
cast.
obvious solution might be to just kill all the guards in combat and loot the key. But that kind of decision making
We've seen
could
that
have messy
the conditional
consequences.
opportunities
Over
and
time, you'll
dialogue
develop
trees.
skills that offer alternative solutions. Knowledge in the sciences might allow you to craft explosives to blow out a
Mm-hmm.
wall, while a talent for lockpicking can gain a less destructive entry. Remember, using force is not always the best way to defuse a
Man,
situation.
I hope they make
That
it.
drunkard is the only son
I
of
hope
the
this is
Prince
great.
d'Orsay.
I'm gonna give it a couple
Diplomacy
months,
is often
maybe.
an option, though be mindful in your choice of companions.
Done with my mother.
A poorly timed
looks so
outburst
good.
might ruin your chances at a peaceful outcome.
You're acting like a beast.
An ever-growing cast of colorful
sure
characters
that'll
from a
go well.
diverse range of factions joins you on the island. Who you bring with you into quests and combat is up to you, as you compose your party of 3 from the companions you've met so far. Develop your relationship with each party
I thought you
member,
said there were 5.
And I hope that this singular
many-
appearance makes me more attractive to you.
undertaking personal missions relating to their unique backgrounds. The strongest of friendships may even lead to romance.
I like
Thanks
the
to
cut
your
they did
party's
there.
different, often conflicting beliefs and motives, it won't always
That's
be
a
possible
great
to
shot
please
right there,
everyone.
man.
Ignore someone's needs for too long and they might not stick around, becoming antagonistic in
same.
the worst of cases.
You know what I mean about the spirit of BioWare?
Political
Like
diplomat or battle-hungry warrior, zealous hunter
they
or
might,
champion of the natives.
they might.
No matter what you choose, forge your own destiny in GreedFall, releasing September 10th on PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC.
Might be the most genius marketing play. This has been in development for like 3 years though, so to be fair, right? So Inquisition would have come out, this would have started development, Andromeda would have come out, it would have not done so well. Anthem would have come out, it wouldn't have done so well. So this studio was already influenced by the best of what came before. Maybe Inquisition happened, and then you know, like a good studio, especially a small one who can like pivot and like they're more of an agile team sort of thing. They can take all of that feedback that happens to other companies during launch time and like gameplay, what fans are saying, what they want, what they didn't like. You take that into the room and you say, look, these are the things, these are our anti-goals, these are our goals, this is what we need to like focus on. And you come up with a game like this, which is like, should have been like the game BioWare created after Inquisition or something. You know, like they might have played a very strategic move here. 3 years later, there's a vortex. there is a gaping hole in the market waiting. Fans are waiting to give their money to something that would have been a BioWare hit. So if BioWare's not capable of doing that, that's what I'm saying. And the final one we'll watch here is the Companions trailer.
Just set sail for that island
I'm curious
everyone's
about this
talking
one.
about.
See if we
It
can
is
find
said
some
our people lived
influences.
peacefully until the men appeared.
I mean, I would
from the
imagine
sea,
one of them is
intent on
from the
making
tribes.
Our lands their own.
They don't look
GreedFall,
elfish.
The world and
I
your
read that
story
somewhere, I'm
are
certain of it.
ever-changing based on the choices you
I mean,
make.
they kind of look a
You'll
little
enter the
bit
island of
naturey,
Tyr
right? But
Freddy,
I
not
don't
to
see
act as
the
an
ears right
assassin
there.
or soldier. First and foremost, you are a diplomat, with all the social
You're a
powers
neutral
and
party.
status
That's on the
that come
wiki
with it.
page.
You're free to explore every faction's settlement and deal with the powers that govern each.
Okay, so
To overcome
it
the
is,
challenges ahead,
it isn't that there's multiple
you'll need
tribes.
to
There's
befriend
multiple
members of
settlements we
every
learned,
faction,
right? But not
some of whom will journey, fight, and talk
2, 3,
alongside you.
Your Majesty,
4.
I
Those
shall
are the
present
4
you to the governor.
companions then.
Come.
You're probably the
Infamous
5th
Majesty, you are
faction.
most confusing, but thank you for your help.
Compose your party of 3 from anyone who's joined you so far. But choose carefully. Each companion brings something different to combat. Kurt, your loyal master of arms and mercenary of the Coin Guard Guild, makes for a great
these are the factions they talked about in the
Meanwhile,
article.
Afra, a talented scientist from the Bridge Alliance, specializes in ranged weaponry, such as rifles and throwable explosive files. Regardless of who you choose, be sure to regularly switch out and upgrade your companion's equipment and weapons, or you may find yourself overwhelmed in battle. During dialogues and
I love that
diplomacy,
creature.
your party members will chime in and react depending on your choices and what's being said.
My son,
Like-
it is clear this woman has no intention of helping
My son.
us.
I ask you to forgive these foreigners. They do not know our customs.
For example,
voice sounds familiar, no?
Siora is a Tier Fredi native, fiercely protective of her people's
Favorite.
rights. Sides strongly with someone antagonistic to the natives while in her presence, and an angry interruption may force your hand into bloodshed.
Don't tell me that you are going to humor this crazed assassin.
Be sure to pay close attention to your party members' needs. Each has their own story and unique personal quests. Ignoring them for too long may even cause them to leave the party.
Why do they all have such beautiful
Petrus
eyes?
is a missionary of Ptolemy with a remarkable way with words and an outwardly fatherly nature that masks deep-rooted ambitions.
The aged wisdom.
Vasco,
But
a captain of the seafaring Nauts, is one of the more secretive, closed members of your party. Spend
best.
time with the captain and complete his personal
Like-
quest line, and he'll
I got my two
inevitably
favorite.
open up. Develop close friendships with all of your companions, and some may even lead to romance. Never forget, relationships in GreedFall can be as uncertain as the seas that ravage Tier Fredi's shores.
Constantine, I'm here. Pull yourself together.
Nothing said or unsaid can be taken for granted.
Woo.
Ultimately, the choices you make will shape the future of the island
We didn't want this fight.
and the lives of all upon it.
You are too blind.
I love the folklore influences, man. That's
GreedFall releases September
beautiful,
10 on
man.
PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC.
Well, I don't know what I'm gonna do in September now. But there you go. That's I had to show it because if I didn't know about, no one can be as noobishly blind to all of this game use as me. Let's be fair. I'm still very much focused on just playing the last, I think I'm at about this, no, there's like games I haven't played that are over 10 years old still that I'm catching up on, but there's the last 5 years of gaming I still have to very much catch up on in order to get just updated from a quality perspective and just from a studio perspective, understanding what studios are working on. What's the next big things that are coming? I don't know what this stuff is unless it's like an E3 thing and it happens to be on my Twitter feed, like some clips or something, and I find out, Keanu Reeves is in Cyberpunk or something. Otherwise, I'm like, I don't know. I'm not subscribed to these other articles and stuff that are out there, or sites with articles, right? But this one right here flat-footed me, and because it's coming up so soon, I'm in a little bit of disarray because this is a game that I would absolutely be hungry for, like right now. I would want to play a game like this right now. Like I have other games that are akin to this, like Horizon Zero Dawn has some of the sensibilities that I find they're capturing here that is making me really like the idea of Horizon Zero Dawn. But I'm not going to be playing PlayStation games until next year, in 2020. And man, this game. So I'm like, do I just let it? I'm gonna let it sit on the market. There might be DLCs, we don't know. So maybe when I get around to playing this game, and I will play this game, they'll already have DLCs, and so I'll play it all as one big package, which is probably more preferable to me, anyways, because I got other things I can play. I got Witcher 2 and Witcher 3 to still play. Those are massive games. That's gonna cut away at like probably a whole year on this channel. In the primary slot. This feels like a primary game to me. This has got to be a 100+ hour game. It has to be. When you bring companions into it like this, there's companion relationship dynamics, there's faction dynamics, there's crafting stuff. Like I can't see them putting that much. There's that tree, that skill tree. That's a massive skill tree. You guys saw it. So I can't see them giving you that much breadth of options, of choice, of customization, and then it being a 40-hour game. You know what I mean? Like, it just, that's something about that doesn't feel like it's in line with the kind of experience they're going for. This is, you can see what their influences are for a game like this. If I had to guess, that Witcher 3 is probably heavily, I haven't played Witcher 3, but I can only imagine what Witcher 3 is like, because it's kind of like it's been a pinnacle of a type of experience. I would imagine for those of you who have played Witcher 3, you probably see some influence of that in here. I would say Inquisition, I can see that in the combat, in the open world kind of maneuvering and tactics and stuff in combat. I can kind of see it there. You can see it in even the clips of storytelling. You can see the BioWare influence. It's unmistakable. The influence is there. So I think they're going to capture at least the spirit of it. Whether or not they succeed on it, in a blockbustery kind of way, will this be this sort of underdog hit of the year? Man, it certainly looks like it has the potential to be that. I just hope they follow through. We need a good news story. In the RPG gaming market, we need gaming companies. And again, I'm just new at this, but I'm already getting. I get the inkling from the comments and stuff like that. Like, there's a gap, man. That's all I'm saying. There's a gap right now where, like, the multiplayer aspect getting added to games. I mean, who knows if this has multiplayer, right? I hope it does not. Like, multiplayer, I think, is you add it to a game and it distracts from what the game is. Just make the game about the story, and then here's how I would do it. And then I would create a DLC for the game. That's to unlock the multiplayer. And so release the game as what the game is, and then use, like, the studio can be working on a multiplayer element of it, and then you release it as DLC, and then you see if people are super interested in the DLC and they buy the multiplayer expansion. Then you would know if people are interested in multiplayer expansions to games like that. If you get a low turnout on multiplayer DLC purchases, then, as a studio, on your next version of the game, you're not going to maybe do it, or you're going to put less effort into it. You know what I mean? Like, you'll know from a marketing perspective, people don't actually want that as much as they just want a solid, story-driven, consequence engine, RPG experienced game. Like, give that to people. It seems like people really want this, and I don't sense it because I played both of the BioWare trilogies in 3 years. I played the Mass Effect and Dragon Age series blind, and so I feel great. Because I never had to go through the waiting phases that a lot of, like, people did when they started playing BioWare games as maybe teenagers, and they're in their late 20s, mid 30s for many of you, and you had to kind of go through a decade of becoming super BioWare fans and then not getting anything for years. So here's the hoping that GreedFall will deliver something phenomenal to the fan base, and they will make loyalists for any future game that they create. And I hope this world already looks remarkable, so they could just build on this. And hey, I'm ready to jump into another world at this point. I love these things, and I will be playing this game in the future. I just don't know when. I'm going to be following this studio very closely. I'm just not going to be watching Let's Plays because I don't want to spoil myself. But yeah, here's to hoping. Don't forget to explore, engage, and inspire, buddy. Peace.